Connie, the lead of the Connie Doran Group, has been at this real estate game up in the northern suburbs for 2 decades now.
Just
decades.
about.
She's been rocking it up there. And more importantly, she's been taking amazing care of our clients when they go that way. We have so many people, especially my clients in the city, have so many people that say, you know what? I'm ready for my next chapter. I'm ready for the suburbs. I have no idea which one or how to go, what to go. I just don't understand them enough. I wanted to talk to you and I wanted to hear your thoughts when somebody's considering a move to your side of the suburbs. What are the things that they should be considering and what are the things that they maybe don't know that they should be considering?
Well, first of all, Amanda, you got to call me and you do want to move to the North Shore. So the things that they want to consider are what's important to you. Schools, where's your commute? What type of house do you want? Do you want vintage or do you want new construction? Do you want a gated community or do you want something?
Wait, you have gated communities?
We do have gated communities. I know. It works for some.
Absolutely.
What are you going to do? So do you want an active family-oriented community with lots of kids or do you want something more with retirees? So depending on what those answers are, that's where I fall in and tell you, okay, here are your options. And we can take a look at this area or this area. For example, for a gated community, maybe you want to consider Meadow Ridge or Royal Ridge. Those are 2 gated communities in Northbrook, or let's say that you really want a tutor. Well, you're going to find more tutors in, for example, in north part of Evanston or even in Glencoe. Lots of tutors there. Far more so than you're going to find a tutor in Glenview or Northbrook.
That's a great point because I always explain that to my clients in the city, right? If you want to be in a courtyard building, you're not going to be in certain areas. And if you want to be in a high rise, you're not going to be 2 miles from the lake just because that's how the zoning works out and that's how the inventory is actually built.
Exactly.
Now, kind of on that note, and the other thing that you probably didn't mention, but probably is a pretty big driver in that is price.
Well, price is no matter where you're looking at, city, suburbs,
Right.
farmland, price is always a factor.
Yes.
So for example, if you're telling me that you want to spend $1.5 million or $1.8 million on a new construction house, at least 4,000 square feet, well, that's most likely not going to be Glencoe, Winnetka, Kenilworth.
Sure.
So we might find something in certain areas of Wilmette. We'll definitely find something in Glenview or Northbrook at that price point.
No, absolutely. And that's just the nature of location.
Exactly.
In terms of the clients coming out of the city, because that's so many of the people that hopefully are watching right now, as they transition to your neck of the woods, what are some of the real popular places that they're going?
Amanda, that's a tough question to answer because everyone is unique. I can't say that there's one area that is far more popular than another one. Okay. Not in the same way that it is in the city. So as I was coming down here today and going through Ravenswood, I remember a time when Ravenswood was like the hottest area to be in, or Bucktown or Wicker Park. It's not the same thing in the suburbs. Like we don't have an area like, oh, you've got to buy a house in the Highlands or you have to buy a house on the tree streets. Well, those areas have always been popular since I was a child. So it's just a matter of what do you really want? And of course, in that question, we're going to go into location value. So how important is location value to you? So, and that will also determine where you're going to live. If location value is not important, well, maybe we're going to look for the product that you like, for the lifestyle that you want in an area that maybe not most buyers are looking for,
Sure.
right? So you'll get a better value there than you will have, let's say, in downtown Wilmette, or the McKenzie School District.
I gotcha. I still think she totally punted on my question, though. So I'm going to call you back to it.
All right. Sorry.
Top 3 suburbs that you represent where you saw city buyers go to last year.
Wilmette, Winnetka, and Glenview.
Okay.
In that order.
Okay. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I wasn't going to let you get off that easy. What do you think? Here's another one kind of along these. And really what I want to do is I want to open people's awareness for suburbs that maybe they don't know. If you had to pick a couple of the northern suburbs that really are, as I like to say, Midwestern value more bang for your buck, a little bit more value driven, what would come to mind right off the top?
That would be outside of the North Shore.
Okay.
So those areas would be Arlington Heights, Barrington. You get far up.
Horse country.
Right. Libertyville and portions of Lake Forest.
Okay. No, that's fantastic. And I think that opens minds, because I do think that there's a lot of consumers that just get, as the prices have gone up, get a little concerned if they can afford the house that they want in the areas that they want to.
But you also have to consider another thing. So let's say that the client wants to buy a new construction home for, let's say, $1.2 million, as an example. So maybe in 2014, 2015, you can buy a new construction home for $1.2, $1.3 million in Glenview, Northbrook. Now you really can't.
Sure.
So it's very, very, unless you get like something that's like 2,500 square feet. So now they get pushed out to Arlington Heights, and Arlington Heights is a fantastic suburb. It's beautiful. Downtown area is great. Wonderful school systems. But now those prices have gone up. 1.2, 1.3 million is a drop in the bucket in the North Shore in how many homes will sell at that price point, whereas in Arlington Heights, it's not. You are really at the top of the market there at that price point.
Okay.
So it depends what you want.
Well, I'm going to ask one last question on this topic, and I know you're going to try and punt it a little bit because you already told me there's no such thing as a hot neighborhood. But as you look to this year, is there any neighborhood that you really think is going to get some strong attention?
I think portions of Highland Park. I think Highland Park was a little quiet for a little while. They had some of their own little carfuncles going on with their school administration, but I think that's all settled now. And I think Highland Park is really going to come out shining a bit more than it has in the last few years. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's done well. There's no doubt.
For certain. But I think it's going to kind of step back into the limelight a little bit more.
Exactly.
Well, Connie, I can't thank you enough for making the schlep down here.
You're welcome.
Dealing with the traffic, the parking, everything else here that we deal with in
the
city.
Rain.
And the rain. Yeah. But we've really appreciated it. I love that you'll share your knowledge with our clients. I call them ours because so many of them go back and forth between us.
Exactly.
It is always just a treasure to have you.
And I would only schlep in traffic and the rain just for you.